Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammadin sallim. Uh, my today's lecture is about transportation planning, especially focusing on do's and don'ts of the planning. What should not be done, and what concepts, what misconception uh, during your planning can um, what you can say that can bamboozle your planning, that can ruin your plan. So that's the main topic of today's discussion. So let us start uh, with this. The first slide. Uh, we all know this planning, but again, as it's an activity that examines the potential of future actions to guide a situation towards a desired direction. Uh, we do planning in present, but actually it is oriented towards the future. The purpose to achieve the positive goal, to avoid the negative results, or both. Achieve positive goal and avoid negative consequences and results. In the transportation planning, we identify problems on the basis of the data that we gather and its analysis. Once you do that, the present data, you forecast your future traffic demand and estimate what could have been the environmental social impact of whatever uh, plan we are having to cater for the future traffic demand. Uh, then whatever we have a number of solutions. We have number of alternatives. We must have a number of alternatives. And from that alternatives, we need to know which is the best suited alternative that lies within the boundaries of the problem, and it should be at the lowest cost. These are what we call the pitfalls, and this is the trap. This is a misconception, and if these are not understood, we can have we can ruin our transportation planning. So, to summarize that, in most of the cases, the transportation provision and planning work against the broader goals of creating better places. Some pitfalls in transportation planning includes the confusion between goals and objective, confusion between development and the growth, overlooking the broader impact of the transportation planning based solely on the projection of the past trend, focusing on those issues that are easy to measure and focusing on mobility and not accessibility. So this is actually, these are the topic of my discussion in this video. First thing is, don't confuse goals and objective. Goals are desired outcome, health, equity, and happiness, such as objectives are ways to achieve goals. During a process, it is helpful to ask regularly, what are we trying to achieve? That what is the goal? And to achieve that goal, we need objectives. Goals are fundamental. We cannot substitute one goal from another. On the other hand, objectives can be employed to achieve a given goal, and we need to keep our options open and select the best objective for the situation. Second pitfall is plan for development, not for growth. Distinction between growth means increase quantity and development means improve quality. That should be well understood. Growth means getting bigger, while development is getting better. So you can always, from this sentence, we need to get better rather than going bigger. And bigger and better, that's better and bigger, that will be another good thing. The transportation plan, they should contribute to the development of place and not simply to its growth. Uh, for example, it's city in Switzerland, Zurich. In 1970s, the transportation plan was done that they want develop but not necessary to grow. Other places might be willing to accommodate both development, but the important point is that development should be accorded the highest priority, not the growth. The third point is don't overlook the wider impact of transportation plan. Don't be like a frog sitting in a well. Uh, get out of your well. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out what you see and try to look beyond what you see. Transportation have wide-ranging impact. It will not change the travel, but it will also change the whole dynamics of the society, economic, social, and environmental aspects of our life. This can be short term or it can be a long term. And they can extend across the geographic and political boundaries as well. We don't consider this impact, our plans will lead to unintended or undesirable consequences. Now we have to understand the wider impact of transportation planning. Means uh, there's a scientist that who was known as Littman. He has defined three levels of impact. First level, direct impact. That will be the change in your travel conditions and cost. The second level of the transportation planning will, the impact was the current and direct impacts of changes in travel, tax revenue, and external impacts. The third level is the long-term change in land use and economic development. So the transportation planning will be a long-term, it will be a short-term and a mid-term, and all of have an effective planning would have an effect on the society. What are the examples of different impacts of transportation plan? Roadway capacity can be increased. That is the first level of initially reducing traffic congestion. And obviously, it will result in vehicle speed. Second level is increased traffic capacity may attract additional travel from other routes and may create barriers to walking and cycling. The third level may be that over the long run, land becomes, route pattern becomes dispersed. It will dependent on the automobile. And this is one of so-called induced traffic. Traffic over and above what would one expect from just extrapolating from the past rate of the growth. So traditionally, if we have used this regression analysis, what would have done that this is my present traffic and it's going linearly in this manner. Uh, we would have uh, stopped. We have planned for this much of traffic volume. But this is, yes, it's good for the present scenario, the first level. But as I have discussed about the level 2 and level 3, actually this induced traffic will make somewhat non-linear uh, uh, growth of the traffic, and the actual traffic will not be here, this will be here because of the induced traffic. So if we would have planned simply for this pink dotted line, this would fail. So actually we have to define a plan for the non-linear behavior, we predict for non-linear, not the linear behavior. And if we do that, and this is an actual scenario of the prediction and not this. So this we can say that the prediction of the traffic, it should not be, it is not linear. It's a non-linear uh, impact because of the land use pattern or the travel behavior. People shifting from one place to job place. Uh, to continue what we were saying, plannings occurs at many different scales. Some reflect natural areas, and other reflect political jurisdiction. In our project, we need to careful understanding at which level of geography we are working. It can be very confusing, and then because we have some plans that apply to overlapping levels of geography. Let's look at this table. Also, the impact of transportation often extends beyond the boundary for which plan was developed. This is a table for the national side, special service district political boundary. For the street, municipality is the boundary, the political boundary. For the neighborhood design, it's a land use transportation. For watershed ecosystem, it's an agency. There's again this land use and transportation agency. For regional, we have focus on the regional government plans. For global, we have to look the state or country-wide or provincial and federal jurisdiction of the plans. The fourth one is do not base plan on predicted past trends. It is based on past trends to predict future vehicle traffic. This predict volume is then used to determine the size of the transportation facility, as we have seen actually in the previous graph as well. So one problem that it's found that the factor that led traffic volume to increase the past will continue. Uh, Supposedly, we take the example of banking, in which there is no reasonable approach since they want you past performance, no guarantee of the future results. So this should also be bear as a planner, transportation planner in our mind as well. We have to consider the long-term impact. For example, because they change the conditions, they can lead to induced traffic. Certain days makes the predictions useless. The approach of beam planning on past trend is derisively effort to as predict to provide planning by some. This is the point in one of the West Indies nation. It's in Jamaica, they have uh, done this plan, which has actually for the induced planning, and they work very well. And the traffic capacity is the ultimate solution. Oh, at on the outside, you can see this is some drawing of some bugs. Actually, these are traffic. And if you count the number of lane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 18 lane traffic again, you can find there is no space for the vehicle move. And there's a lot of, instead of 9 lanes in each direction, 18 lanes is not able to solve the problem. And we, and we can see the traffic is not moving. This is with Canada and Mexico. We could add a few more lanes in each direction, but this will not solve the problem. Do not focus on the issue that can be easily measured. This is our tendency that sometimes we don't come out of our comfort zones. Vehicle traffic is easily relative to measure. So the quality tends to be evaluated based on automobile travel, average traffic speed, roadway level of service, vehicle congestion, delay, vehicle operating costs, and parking supply. Accessibility impact include impacts on transit services, quality, non-motorized and land usability are often harder to measure and tend to be ignored. This approach tends to favor automobile-oriented solutions and undervalues alternative solution to transportation problem. Uh, the last but not least is the focus on accessibility, not mobility. Accessibility, to understand this issue, we need to distinguish between traffic, mobility, and access. Traffic means transportation often reflects the assumption that transportation means motor vehicle traffic. Mobility means more comprehensive approach, assumption that transportation means personal mobility, measured in terms of person trips and person kilometers. And accessibility means most definition of transportation accessibility to reach desired goods, services, and activities. This is ultimate goal of transportation and the best definition to use in the transportation planning. And this is what you know. Compare this figure. Uh, this is an accessibility from one point to another point. And if you plan well, this will create congestion. And if you plan well, the accessibility, this route, instead of taking this route, it could have taken this route. And this will similar. So instead of having providing accessibility to this, we can have we have planned this in such manner. This green one, this park should have been here. So this could have avoided this congestion, this conflict of the traffic. And similarly, on the left-hand side, this is the plan you have made. And if you plan well, based on the accessibility, your actual uh, land use plan would be like this. And so the intelligent land use planning or the smart land use planning, based on access versus mobility, will create less congestion. This is the purpose of showing this diagram. You being an architect, you being the town planners, must have this concept of access and mobility so that when you're planning, you plan in this manner. So that's it for this lecture. We'll stop here.